Hello, I'm Mark Forsyth and welcome to lesson number 7 on how to write English verse. As ever, if you haven't seen lessons 1 to 6, go back. They are all up on the Inky Fool blog and they're on YouTube and they are also going up on Instagram. I've been very bad at Instagram and I apologise. I've never used the site before, so it's a bit of a mystery to me, but they are going up there. If you have done the previous 6 lessons, then you will remember that last time I said we would talk about trochaic substitutions, but we won't, because somebody got in contact with me on Facebook in the comments and asked me a question which I should have cleared up ages ago. I should have explained this to you and I apologise for not doing so. The question was about last week I told you to versify your fridge, and the question was 2 words, chocolate and mayonnaise. Are they 2 syllables or 3? Because you can pronounce it chocolate, 3 syllables, or you can pronounce it chocolate, 2 syllables, chocolate. Both are completely normal. The same goes with mayonnaise, which especially in the American pronunciation is sort of mayonnaise, 2 syllables. And in fact there are loads and loads of words in the English language like this. If you take the word whispering, that can be whispering, 3 syllables, or whispering. To conference, is it different, 3 syllables, or is it different to? Am I answering this question, or am I answering it, or am I just blathering on? The answer is you can do whatever you like, pronounce it however you want in order to just fit the meter. It's fine, yes, whatever it takes. And I'm not being lax there or airy-fairy. That's what poets have always done. And in fact, they used to point out when they were doing it in the way they printed poetry. So let's take a very famous iambic pentameter. The line, "A little learning is a dangerous thing." That's by Alexander Pope. It's from his essay on criticism, which was written in the early 18th century. And it's an iambic pentameter. And for that pentameter to work, the word dangerous has to be pronounced as 2 syllables, dangerous, rather than dangerous. So the way he told his readers that that was what he was doing was in the printing of it. If you get a modern edition, usually everything will be spelt normally. But in the original editions in the 18th century, I've got a high-tech graphic again. This is what it looked like. There's the line, "A little learning is a dangerous thing." And the E has been missed out and replaced with an apostrophe, which was Pope's way of telling his reader, for the iambic pentameter to work, you have to pronounce dangerous as 2 syllables. And that was absolutely standard practice back in the 18th century. Perfectly normal. That's how all poems were printed. Also, poets back in the day used to add on spurious syllables, sometimes just in order to fill out the meter. So you, especially with past participles, take a word like amazed, then Shakespeare, when he used that, usually used it as 2 syllables, amazed. But when he needed to fill out the meter, he turned it into 3 syllables, quite spuriously, would become amazed, as you get lots of that in Shakespeare, I am deceived, etc., etc. And they would symbolise that by putting a little accent, like the French accent, acute on the E, to show that this syllable now has to be pronounced just to fill out the iambic pentameter, and that was the only reason for it. Probably the best example of this is the play Romeo and Juliet, where both of those names, Romeo and Juliet, can be either 3 syllables or 2 syllables, depending on how you choose to pronounce them. It can be Romeo, or it can be Romeo. And similarly, it can be Jul-yet, 3 syllables, or it can be Juliet, 2 syllables. And most of the time, almost all the time, Juliet is 2 syllables. I went through the whole play yesterday, just checking. And she's almost always 2 syllables, so you have pentameters like, "But soft what light from yonder window breaks, it is the dawn and Juliet is the sun." She has to be 2 syllables there in order for the pentameter to work. But a couple of times, when Shakespeare felt like it, she turns into 3 syllables, just to fill out the pentameter. And just to illustrate to you how little Shakespeare cared, and he really did, I'm going to read you the last 12 lines of the play. So these are the final 12 lines from the final scene. And spoiler alert, they're both dead. And Montague says of Juliet, he says, "For I will raise her statue in pure gold." These are all obviously iambic pentameters. "That while Verona by that name is known, There shall no figure at such rate be set as that of true and faithful Juliet. She has to be 3 syllables there for the rhyme to work. So Juliet, 3 syllables. Capulet replies, as rich shall Romeo's by his lady lie. It has to be 2 syllables there. As rich shall Romeo's by his lady lie, poor sacrifices of our enmity. So, Juliet 3 syllables, Romeo 2 syllables. But we have 6 lines of the play left, and those 6 lines go to the prince. And the prince says, a glooming peace this morning with it brings. The sun for sorrow will not show his head. Go hence to have more talk of these sad things. Some shall be pardoned and some punished. For never was a story of more woe than this of Juliet and her Romeo. So, in the space of 12 lines, Juliet has gone from 3 syllables to 2, and Romeo has gone from 2 syllables to 3. That's how little Shakespeare cared. Shakespeare just did what he felt like, and so should you. Shakespeare did whatever it took to fill out a pentameter, and so should you. Obviously, Shakespeare had control of his actors and could tell them how to pronounce words, but also his actors would have known iambic pentameters backwards, forwards, and sideways. That was their full-time job. With you, you're either writing for yourself, in which case you're fine, or you are writing and then you're going to recite it or read it out to somebody, in which case you're doing the reciting, so you're fine. Or you're writing and you're going to send it to somebody, in which case just do whatever you think you can get away with. And remember that once you've got the rhythm going in your reader's head, your reader will quite naturally just keep that rhythm going and probably read the word as you intended, so you're fine. And that's the end of today's lesson. The exercise for today, I want you to go to the window and look out of the window and describe whatever you can see in iambic pentameters, just whatever it happens to be, and do leave them in the comments, however mundane they may be. Leave them in the comments or on Facebook or on Twitter or whatever. I love reading them. I've got nothing else to do in lockdown. And I shall be back very soon to discuss, well, I think I'll be discussing choc'late substitutions, but I keep promising that and I never actually do. But I will be back soon for lesson number 8. Until then, farewell.